Boo, welcome, hello, it's time for Blocktalk with Alex Dirk. Hi. And library. Shh. We're in a library. Be quiet. Anyways, guys, we gotta do our little spiel here at the beginning because now we're counting down to the next block halving. And can you see my screen? Yeah, it looks like you can. We are on Bitcoin block 420, 420, 902. So yeah, that means like we're 209,100 or 98 blocks until the next halving. Yeah, so close. Like time just flies, or blocks just propagate the network. Anyways, on to the sponsors. Crypto Commerce International. These guys are based in Spain, and they're doing some wonderful work in the Bitcoin space and kind of educating everyone, making sure, crypto, spelled with a K, is just really has ease of use, and a lot more people can kind of come into the space and feel like they have a trusted member to go to. So they have a lot of different things going on here. They're working with banks and financial institutions, smart contracts, online security, and safe hosting. Like they have a number of professionals. As you can see, the brains. Excuse you. We have some awesome brains here. Guys who are just willing to, I guess, teach you whatever you want. Like even at the bottom here, what are cookies? Well, cookies are delicious. That's what they are. Yeah, they have the Crypto Academy, again spelled with a K, and Crypto Pay, Bitcoin debit cards, and you guys might also know them from Starcoin. But if you want to launch your own altcoin project and you need a little helping hand to hold it, yeah, check them out, cryptocommerce.com. And what else do we got here? Oh yeah, we got the Steemit thing here, but you know what? I didn't really get a whole lot from this Steemit. I don't know if it's just there's not much buzz for library, but I think it's probably because Steemit went down and they had like a banner ad up here to promote their own posts. So nobody really cares about Blocktalk anymore. It's a shame. I hear yours network is going to be the next big thing. It's based on the Bitcoin blockchain. However, yeah, I got the live chat going here, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. And also, yeah, we'll have the blockchain rolling here for our Bitcoin beer machine. Send them up here, and yeah, we'll see if we can get some beers for our audience members, because you know what, we got quite an audience. Welcome, Decontrol. Hey, yeah, whoop whoop, party in the house.
How do you join this thing on a phone?
There's a hangout link on Slack.
I'm sorry, what?
All right, well, I'm going to mute you guys while you figure that out, and I'm going to introduce our next little panel members here, because we got quite a few. So maybe we'll just kind of go through and have them, introduce themselves, say what they do for our library, and maybe when they got into Bitcoin. So first of all, let's talk to the CEO, the man who's been in the basement there, Jeremy Kauffman.
That's right, and I've sent Bitcoin to the Bitcoin beer machine. So if you want to be like me, it's the key to all of my success. So definitely do that.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm Jeremy Kauffman. I'm the CEO of LBRY. I've been interested in decentralized and distributed technologies predating Bitcoin, but I probably only discovered Bitcoin, three or so years ago.
Cool. Maybe I'll, yeah, that's probably a good time to get in, Well, really the earlier the better. And I gotta say, you guys, we had you on the show before, and I must say I did a terrible job hosting because it was quite hilarious, all the members of your team. I'm not sure, do we got Mike Vine here somewhere?
He's supposed to be on. I would guess that he may still join because he indicated that he was going to be on, but he's not here yet.
Okay. Well,
our team has grown, so this is still we're slightly over half of our. I think we're at about half of our team right now with the people on this. So.
Wow. Well, let's talk to someone who was on the last show, Jack Robison. Hey, Jack.
Hello. Yep, I'm Jack Robison, and I'm a core developer at LBRY. And what else? When did I get into? I never really purchased any large amounts of Bitcoin or anything. It would be nice if I had, but it was one of those things that I read about a long time ago, and it really only dawned on me sometime afterward. probably the same as for many people.
Very cool. Well, I'm sure you have a good opportunity with the library here. You're in about as early as you can get, I think.
Suppose so.
All right, let's go to I guess our next familiar face from the last show, Josh Viner. Josh, who is your daddy and what does he do?
Hello, Alex. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm scarfing down some pizza here. So,
I'm sorry, you scarfed down your pizza. I'm Josh Feiner. Some of you know me from various crypto places, as well as Blocktalk before. I would say I got the crypto bug in about December 2013, right about the time of the dog Genesis. That's a good way to note the time. That's kind of how I remember it. I was like, really? They think that's going to work? Come on. And then I just sat there and watched it and learned a few things about crypto. But thank you very much for having us back, and I think there's a lot of interesting things to talk about.
And anyone skeptical of Josh's longtime interest in cryptocurrency can just look at the array of technology behind him in his camera shot.
We have a quite dismantled GPU mining farm here, which just might have to come back to life, you know, with all the mining that's going on lately. Got a whole bunch of Bitcoin miners that haven't been doing much lately, but you know what? The price goes up enough, I'll turn them right back on.
you should just be, running them at a loss just to show your support for the Bitcoin network,
You're right. If I was in a cooler climate, I would consider that.
Josh is the COO of LBRY, and Jack is one of the core developers. I don't know if either of them actually gave their title.
Well, that's all right. Titles are for schmucks, So.
Jobs, you mean?
Oh yeah. Well, let's.
How's the farm, by the way, Alex? I don't know if you guys know this, but Alex has been a farmer lately, and I think it provides a really awesome balance to our virtual, intangible world.
Yeah. Today I actually I just got a shipment of pigs in. I'm now also a pig farmer along with dairy and.
Congratulations.
Yeah, So the bacon on this pizza, yeah, I might be. It might be in my barn right now. Oh, we got some late joiners here too. Michael Sullivan. We'll get to him in a sec, but let's kind of get to the new faces here. Riley Smith. Hey Riley, what's your role with the library?
Hey there. I'm Riley, and I'm the curator, which is kind of a weird title, I guess, but I basically find good content for people to enjoy on library.
Oh, so how come you didn't hit up Blocktalk? Why do I have to go through Finer?
Because Finer is very ingrained in this community. I'm so bad at this stuff.
Riley's a humble guy, but Riley's the reason that we have had Hollywood interest in LBRY. That wouldn't have happened without him. So.
Whoa, Hollywood interest. Damn.
I
So
guess
is that where you're calling from right now? The Hollywood Hills.
I'm in Hollywood proper, yes.
Very
it's
cool.
Sunny there. It's nice.
Very nice tonight, actually. It's perfect. I should be catching Pokemon, but I'm not.
Can you see the Hollywood sign from where you're sitting?
Well, not from my house, but if I go on the street over there, you can, yeah.
You should just climb on your roof while we're doing the show here and see if you can get a good shot of it. But we heard a.
Not later. I can do a stunt. I can't actually get up here.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hold you to it.
Okay.
You have to provide the entertainment value in Blocktalk. What else do we heard just I think Jobs Job. I'm sorry.
No worries. It happens all the time. I've been with LBRY I think about 2 months or so. I've been working on sort of some infrastructure, kind of getting our build system set up and some analytics. So, and I guess I probably bought my first Bitcoin 4 years ago and then probably promptly used it.
4 years ago, I think the only thing you could buy with Bitcoin was either alpaca socks or drugs on Silk Road. So which was it?
We'll go with alpaca socks.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Riley. When did you get into Bitcoin?
2011 or 2012. A similar thing to Jack, where it was like an early thing, but didn't really dive deep until like a year afterwards.
Well, Riley, was your first Bitcoin experience was buying from Eric Voorhees, isn't that right?
Yeah, I'd say that wasn't my first actually. My first was back when like it was all like sketchy online stuff, and then the first time I like did substantial amounts was on a MoneyGram with BitInstant. It was the sketchiest thing ever, and I couldn't.
Phone.
Huh? Yeah, the red phone. You walk down the street to the CVS. It was so ghetto and not Bitcoin at all. It was not cool. But
Nice.
yeah.
Well, thanks for that. And geez, who else do we got on the team here? So your display name is Alex, but you're going by something else?
Yeah, I'm Grid. I've been called Grid for pretty much since high school because we had way too many Alexes.
Yeah, I know that.
We almost have too many Alexes here.
Just one too many.
Yeah. So I guess officially I'm the CIO, although infrastructure is kind of the smallest part of what I do. I do a little bit of everything, a little bit of web development, a little bit of braiding Jeremy when he makes mistakes. Pretty much my favorite part of the job.
Well, I can get that impression, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've known Jeremy for almost a decade at this point.
Oh, wow.
Kind of
So,
like,
who told who about Bitcoin?
probably I told him, but I also, kind of like everyone else, like I heard about it, I thought it was cool, almost enjoyed the technical side of it more than like having Bitcoins, and missed out.
If you think about it, we're ahead of like 99.99% of like the general population, so don't think about it as we were missing out. You're just like, we just got in slightly later than everyone else.
Than the 0.01%.
Yeah. You know, like those three like libertarians who are now like VCs for the space and like fund projects like Open Bazaar, and then they know they're not going to get a return, and they're just like, oh yeah, this will fuck the system up.
You think that's the attitude of what's it? I can't believe I'm forgetting the name. The one in New York City that funded Open Bazaar. I think they think they're going to make money.
Union Square Ventures.
Square, yeah, USB, yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know. Something about making like a low-fee payment system or online shopping system doesn't seem like it would have great returns. I don't know. Just my opinion.
I think Fred Wilson likes to fuck shit up.
All right. So we have our late joiner, Michael. I don't know if, Michael, you have your camera and microphone ready.
Hey, yeah, I got my microphone.
So, Michael, we're going around and we're saying, what do you do for LBRY, and when did you get into Bitcoin?
Yeah, I don't do much. I was kind of just brought in to tinker a little bit just last week, so but it's been an interesting week. But Bitcoin, yeah, I'm kind of old school Bitcoin back. I'd say, you guys remember Dwala?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was basically just doing a lot of research on things surrounding microtransactions and crowdfunding, and I started getting into Dwala, and Dwala is what actually, this is like 2010-ish, and they were one of the first services to kind of allow for Bitcoin transfers, and that's where I first heard about Bitcoin sometime in 2010, and started looking into it, and then went down the rabbit hole. Lost a lot of Bitcoin because I thought I was just software. With these there's lots of Bitcoin fountains and things, and I don't want to talk about how many Bitcoins I discarded early on, but yeah, I've been tinkering in crypto stuff ever since. Kind of drifted into the Counterparty project for a couple of years, and all in all, I just keep an eye on lots of different projects, and I'm working for a blockchain type of company right now, trying to tap the rewards market, the loyalty industry, so it's kind of interesting. Yeah,
Well,
so
we'll have to talk later on maybe another show and dive deeper into that, because I definitely have some ideas for rewards and
yeah,
all that stuff. So we've
So-
killed about 20 minutes here with just intros. So, Jeremy, next time you guys come on, make sure you bring like all your shareholders and like however big the team can get.
Well, so already we have I think we're at like over 700 people in our open Slack, which is at slack.lbry.io if you want to increase that number. So we already made a separate Slack just for our own team because it was getting overwhelming, and we just kind of were like, hey, you're around, you want to come hang out? And a lot of people like to talk about libraries, so a lot of our members joined.
Very cool. Well, yeah, I gotta say, I've seen a lot of people kind of buzzing about it, and like, yeah, the launch seemed a little bit quiet, and then it just ramped up right away, like it just took off like crazy, and then yeah, you guys actually got on Poloniacs, which might be my first question, and I think it was the most requested question, and I think I might have to go to Josh for this. Is Josh, how the hell did you guys get on Poloniacs?
Well, let's start with Bittrex, because I know a lot of your audience and whatever are familiar with Bittrex. That was kind of an obvious one because, I have some close relationships there, but more importantly than that, they're super secure, they're US-based. I know that. So honestly, we weren't out to chase a bunch of exchanges. You know how there's these other projects that berate them or tell their members to tweet them and harass them until they let us on. Like, that just wasn't in the cards. And then I believe my understanding of it is that we were just kind of contacted by them. Jeremy actually ended up doing most of the dealing with them. And I just think for some reason the project appealed to someone there. I can't figure out a better explanation because it's honestly something that we asked ourselves a couple of times. I mean, obviously we feel worthy of it, but I'm not exactly sure what happened.
Yeah, honestly, they reached out to us. We've been humbled by the interest in LBRY. It's really been a lot more than we expected to happen this fast. LBRY went live less than 2 weeks ago, and people have just been really, really excited about it. And I think that the reason that we've gotten interest from the markets has been because they've seen that as well.
One more comment is I noticed that they hadn't listed anything since they added a couple Ethereum pairs, like a DAO Ethereum pair, and then before that, it was the DAO itself that was the last project, the DAO itself. So I don't know if they've changed their strategy. Maybe they're looking a little more carefully at projects, and just when they see something a little bit different. But they're certainly not adding a lot now, and we do not have any kind of magical relationship there. So I wish there was a better answer for people.
Yeah, I think part of it's probably that so many of these coins are out there. They're just interested in like getting attention and getting the having people buy and sell them, and all we've been focused on is building a useful application. I think most of, if not everyone, at the LBRY team really thinks of blockchain technology as just a special case database, and what is that database good for? And that's how we came at the project. I don't even think that many of us are. Josh is a very active trader, but I think most of the team they're more buy and hold people than active traders.
And that's a perfect time to say as well that whatever has been going on in the market, it's not us, like, at all. Like, one bit, not us. Like, for anyone who wants to know or has asked that or doesn't believe it, there's no pumps going on. I hate all of that kind of stuff. Many of you who know me know I hate that kind of stuff. So it's as natural as it'll get. There's people who act in the market and can try and make things happen if they have enough money, but that is secondary to us.
I can't hear you, Alex.
Yeah, you're muted.
I wonder why no one was laughing at my jokes. Okay, well, I was I was wondering why I don't know, where was I saying? Oh, yeah, Bittrex. I think a lot of people were really happy with the ad on Bittrex because it's a nice proof of work coin. You guys are actually doing something really innovative, and proof of work actually is probably the main reason why you guys have like this value, is because like that kind of sets the floor. Like whatever the cost of production is really what's giving you guys your overall value. And I think Josh, you were talking about some stats while I was getting my pizza earlier.
Yep, absolutely. And the mining aspect has been one of the things that I think surprised us the most. I mean, I expected us to have a longer time to CPU mine, and I think we all did as well. We wanted to have a longer time to CPU mine because it's a little more equitable, it's a little more fair. You know, it was what was mentioned in the original white paper. I mean, GPU mining was just not part of the whole equation, and then somehow we got this attention, which is still a little bit of a mystery, especially from the mining community. I think they got a little bit tired of mining Ethereum or something. And the next thing you know, we have like 2 well-known GPU developers in our Slack, like debating and like showing their latest, like, you know, anime porn pictures and talking about our algorithm and how easily they can like GPU it and, you know, take over our network. So I just kind of had to like get in there and kind of do the right thing and try and work with them and get it out to everyone as fast as possible. Thankfully, they were pretty cooperative. They could have been a lot less cooperative, I think. And then people just started GPU mining like crazy, and farms started switching over. And as of a couple hours ago, we broke the 1 terahash per second mark, which is just insane. I mean, I never, ever would have expected that a week ago in my wildest dreams.
I just want to get a little cheers for crossing the 1 terahash. Yeah.
Cheers.
It was 2 days till a GPU miner came out. We expected very few people to be mining this initially. We expected, you know, I mean, our alpha testers on a test net, we had around 800 or, you know, around 800 people. So, and then all of a sudden, just tremendous interest as soon as we went into a live blockchain and a beta application.
Speaking of cheers, thanks Adam in the chat box. He just sent $20 to Decontrol. So Decontrol, you guys you know, host, right? So anyone who wants to, you know, hang out down in that basement, the secret society of basement dwellers, get in touch with Blocktalk, and I'll tell you where the hidden location is. They do some great Linux meetups and stuff. But speaking of the chat, I'm gonna mute them just for a sec because it's kind of
Cheers.
why is that mute not working? Anyways, there we go. So in the chat, someone wanted to know what's innovative about LBRY. I know nothing about it, and I think on the last show, Jeremy, you kind of spoke very clearly on the naming, the name ownership system, and I think that's probably the best thing to start with.
Sure. So, I mean, what we're trying to do with LBRY, I have 2 ways to describe it. I call it my hard sentence and my easy sentence. So my hard sentence is that LBRY is a decentralized, distributed, censorship-resistant, community-controlled digital marketplace. My easy sentence is that it's like YouTube, but it's controlled by the users. So that's what we're trying to do with LBRY, is to build a sort of like a decentralized YouTube, although it works for all kinds of decentralized content. But one of the biggest sort of aspects of LBRY is definitely at what we're doing at the blockchain level. And at the blockchain level, LBRY is basically it's Bitcoin plus a key value store, where the keys are controlled in a continuous auction format. So the parties that are willing to bind but not spend the most coins, that's party or parties, they can act in together, control what a name returns. And what we do with that information is then we use the metadata stored in that key value store to provide decentralized distribution of digital content.
Okay, so that's, I guess, kind of...
I might have done better last time, Alex. You can let me know.
Well, I was really enthralled by the explanation on like name ownership and everything. I thought that maybe kind of gave a really good overall structure. But you're right. I guess it's a storage network, right? Like that's a pretty good way to.
Yeah. Well, certainly the name ownership aspect. So and by name we mean something like a URL. So the way that LBRY works is you can write a URL, LBRY : followed by any series of UTF-8 characters, and that is going to return something. What's very unique about the way that we do that, and I'd say that there are other companies that think that they're going to build a decentralized data distribution system. I'd say one of the most as far as I know, no one else is doing this. The way that our names are controlled is that it's the parties that commit the most credits control the resolution of a name. So those names are sort of in a continuous running auction, and whoever, and again, these are not spent coins, they're not destroyed coins. If I were talking to people, depending on the types of people I'm talking to, I'll sometimes talk about a coin as being like a vote, and essentially the community gets to decide what a name or a URL returns. And for more information on this, for people who like to read rather than listen, you can also read our online essay at lbry.io/what. Has more detailed information on this.
So with this whole, I guess, committing of credits or votes towards ownership, do you guys see kind of a deflationary aspect as more people start registering names or URLs on the system?
I'm not an economist. Certainly it's very nice that LBRY credits have a purpose beyond just being money. So the fact that you need to use credits to control how names resolve does create an incentive for people to acquire coins and use those coins towards a productive purpose, which I think is definitely a leg up over a lot of other cryptocurrencies. And since there is a fixed number of coins eventually, I suppose by definition it's a deflationary scheme.
It's a consumptive anchor.
Yeah.
Consumptive anchor.
When we talk about economics, I'm very inclined to just be like, all right, Jack, it's your turn to talk about things.
I was going to say Jack is the resident economist.
Yeah, Jack, we're getting some questions here. Are the coins burnt or are they held as collateral?
So it's deferred consumption. It is saying there are this many credits in this address and they will be there. And so long as they're there, then the following is valid. But I can then move them. I can add more. I can do any number of things. They're still my coins, but I provably put them there, so it's an escrow without a third party.
Now, what's the sort of timing on this? Because if I own, say, 10% of LBRY, can I just start going around and taking names and just go from one to the next?
You could distribute your credits across a wide thing, but
well, I'm just kind of curious if there's some sort of a DDoS element in if I'm able to just shift all the names around.
You could say, on the upper bound of it, there's a 51% attack, in that if you have more than half of all the credits that possibly exist, then you can take over names. But that's why you want to avoid that. But short of that, we're expecting a Kauffsian sort of outcome where the people who are going to own names are going to be the people who get the most value out of it, and because it is so. Conflict is really readily resolvable, that you can just say, I'm willing to spend another $100 than this other person is, and you can just do it. You don't have to go through any process or anything like that. It can just happen. So discovering who should actually have that domain is a much cleaner process.
Can someone talk about those rules too, where one name takes over another and the timing, maybe?
Yeah, so there's a couple things to elaborate on there. One is that in terms of a name switching ownership, there is a logarithmic decay, logarithmic length of time. So the longer you've held a name, the longer you've held a name, the more time you have to respond to someone attempting to claim it. The other thing that I definitely think merits more explanation is what Kauffsian means. I think that's perhaps some of your more educated listeners will be immediately familiar with the Kauff theorem, but I'm guessing that a lot of people are not. So the Kauff theorem, it was a theorem that won the Nobel Prize in economics, despite the fact that the Nobel Prize in economics is not a real thing. And what it says is that if the rules regarding who controls a piece of property are clearly defined, and the transaction costs are low for trading ownership, then a property will come to be held by the person who can get the greatest economic return on that property. And when we express it that way, that seems like kind of common sense, right? If ownership is clearly defined and we can trade in ownership, then the person who will come to own something is the person who gets the most value or return out of owning it. So the way that we think that applies here is that if you think about a URL in the library system, that URL has the most value when it, one, returns the content that people are looking for, and two, if that people are willing to pay more for a piece of content if it has been published by the actual rights holder. So what we're betting on with LBRY, and by the way, this is a bet. I don't consider theory to be facts until they happen in the real world. But what we're betting on is that the long-term outcome of LBRY is that the actual rights holders themselves will come to hold the names that return the content that people would expect to be behind a name.
Okay, no, and that was an excellent point you made in the last show, and I definitely think you need to reiterate it. So we have another late joiner here. I think it's Theon Goodman from.
This is the mic. This is the mic you were looking for, Al.
Oh, okay. Hey, Mike.
Hi there. Can you hear me all right?
Sound great, dude. How you doing?
Good. Sorry I'm late.
Okay. Well, the intro question was, what do you do for LBRY, and when did you get into Bitcoin?
For LBRY, I'm the evangelist. I get the word out mostly. I just talk about LBRY. I kind of have the easiest job of the bunch, and though it's been going pretty well for the past couple of weeks, and I got into Bitcoin in 2011 by being up here in New Hampshire with the Free State Project and being good friends with Eric Voorhees, who
I'm repping my Free State Project.
There you go. Yeah. Eric, I was initially a little bit of a skeptic, and he explained it all to me, so I could, in nice simple terms, so I could understand.
Nice, yeah. I think New Hampshire, I hear a lot of Bitcoiners there, so it sounds like New Hampshire just goes ham on digital currency.
I heard you're supposed to have a porcupine in your audience today. Is that right? A Free State Project mover. Is someone waving there? There you go. That's Jennifer. She was hanging out with us here in New Hampshire and now has made her way to Vancouver. Pretty cool.
Oh wow, cool. Yeah, thanks for dropping in, Jennifer.
I did not know that. That was like a surprise right there.
Seriously, not scripted. All this stuff just happens right on the show. So thanks for coming, Jennifer. We appreciate you, being part of our live audience. And yeah, if you guys have any questions there in the basement, feel free to take the mute off and let me know. Speak up by all means. That's what you're here for.
I will also give the plug that New Hampshire has the highest per capita Bitcoin usage of any place in the country. So you can actually use your Bitcoin out here in New Hampshire. We are at the forefront of Bitcoin usage.
About total
Especially
volume.
settling a bill. When when you have like 8 people at a restaurant and you want to settle a bill, you know how annoying that is? Bitcoin, perfect. No problem.
Yep, for sure. Like I've definitely paid off a couple friends with it. It took a lot of convincing and a little bit of extra, tip on it, but they took it in the end.
Just the tip, yeah, gotcha.
So I don't know if you guys have seen Kim.com has actually been saying some stuff about Bitcoin, and he's saying Mega Upload is coming back, and it had a baby with Bitcoin, and hopefully it's not going to be some child of the damned or something. You guys have any comment on that, and maybe how it might be a competitor for your file system?
Personally, I try to not get too engaged in hype. Mega Upload was an interesting technology, and I think Kim.com does a very good job sort of getting attention for himself. But in terms of what, it doesn't exist. We're talking about something that doesn't exist. And really, his history of projects since Mega Upload has not been very stellar. So, while I hope everything turns out okay for him, I'm not, we see our competitors are YouTube, Netflix, companies like this. That's who we're concerned about, not what Kim.com is doing.
Okay. And actually, yeah, I got a question, I think, from Sid Myers. Where did I write it down here? It was basically, here, I'd love to know if what their long-term plan is to disrupt the YouTube model for content payment and delivery. Are they actively curating quality content to demonstrate the platform viability?
So let Riley answer that one.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, you can watch a movie with David Cross and Julia Stiles on there right now, and we're getting more titles from them sooner rather than later, hopefully. The distributor is Oscilloscope Pictures, which is the late Beastie Boy Adam Yauch, better known as MCA's distribution company.
So Riley, he doesn't have his job title up there, is our curator. I mean, we have a team member who is dedicated to curation, to bringing on new content relationships, and I think out of the gate, considering we were essentially unknown, to have Oscilloscope signing on and Emergent Order was a pretty good initial a couple of gets, and so we're going to keep working on it from there. And Finer's holding up some Jetsons. Are we going to have Jetsons? Am I learning that live on air? Are we getting the Jetsons?
Oscilloscope's doing pretty well with that
It was
movie.
an example of the type of content you might enjoy.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
at the end of this weekend, I'll have Blocktalk on it, so everyone can watch this show
Boom.
live.
That's great.
And there are just so many advantages over YouTube. I mean, YouTube right now takes 45% of every dollar that a content producer earns. LBRY takes 0. LBRY lets you update your content whenever you want. It lets you take micropayments. There's the nature of sort of entrepreneurship or business is that when someone has a competitive advantage, or when someone is able to extract a large profit, entrepreneurs sort of race to the bottom, right? And that's kind of what LBRY is. We're kind of like, we're racing these companies to the bottom. We're saying, screw the companies taking these large cuts to distribute a string of numbers. That's easy. So let's do it for free.
We're setting up the racetrack and letting them duke it out.
Yeah.
Cool. So as I was kind of mentioning at the beginning of the show about Open Bazaar and wondering how they're going to get the return, so how are you guys going to get a return and all these VC investors that I'm sure you have?
So the return for LBRY, it comes from a couple of factors. One, just to be straightforward, there is a pre-mine. So the company itself controls 10% of the credits, and that's a significant portion of our profit model. So the more people use the network, that does increase our profit potential.
Oh, we just lost like 3 live viewers.
Sorry, but look, there's no point to be anything other than straightforward, and that's part of our business model. Beyond that, we think there are several ways we can make money that sort of other open source technologies have made money. That's by being experts at the technology, providing value-added services, providing custom or paid applications, being the people who manage the technology for publishers and that kind of thing. And there's also another profit potential for us, which is that the LBRY at scale is going to require a Lightning Network or other types of off-chain settlement, simply because the throughput of transactions is too high, and that's another source of potential profit for us.
Okay. Yeah, I guess with regards to mining and the pre-mine and the overall supply, I thought I heard some specs on like the mining rewards are actually going to be going up. Maybe Jack might be the best one to answer this.
Mining rewards go up by 1 per 100 blocks from block 5,000 through 50,000. And that was done so that we were able to launch it, make sure that it didn't break, and still have plenty of time for everybody else to hear about it and start mining themselves before reward starts to peak. So we're still on the climb up. Supply is growing at an accelerating rate and will be for another like 2 months. So, and peak reward is going to be 500 per block?
500.
Yeah, we should hit that in about 2 months, and then it just goes down from there very slowly over 20 years.
By the way,
And
also
actually, we have a smooth decay, also not a halving. You know,
that's
we have
right.
a
Yes. Screw halving. I mean,
Yeah.
Bitcoin is a great technology, but what a silly idea that was, right? It did the incentives that I mean, we're going to expect that people are going to mine until the marginal return is very close to zero. So then you got this halving, and the return drops by half, and then that's going to screw up all of your block timing and all these other things.
It's about having and sharing and giving and receiving.
I will also point out that the halving changed very little on the Bitcoin network.
I actually find that shocking to me, because you would expect. I was surprised by that. I was watching that, and I would have expected it to have more of an effect, because you would think that these miners are mining up to the marginal return, and so if the return drops by half, a bunch of people are going to stop mining because it's no longer worth the electricity.
I think it has to
price
do.
been a month ago.
Except they can anticipate it, so they can factor it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can anticipate it, sure. So it affects your capital expenditures or the way that you acquire things. But at the moment at which it switches, it still changes the incentives.
There's a lot of free power in China. Like, I know nothing's really free, but there's a lot of power that's hydroelectric, that's underused. That there's a lot of people that will mine as if the power is almost free.
Yeah, yeah. So the behavior makes sense if the expenditures are mainly upfront capital expenditures and not expenditures of electricity and usage. But if there's any significant expenditures related to usage, then you would expect the behavior to change. I will also, by the way, just to keep people interested, I thought that this would be a nice thing to do. Right now there are 79,000, because I just logged in. There are 79,000 people on the LBRY beta waitlist. But I created.
Every one of them is real. Every one.
I think most of them are real at this point. We've been calling the list from the fake ones. I created 3 invite codes. So if any of your listeners want to race to get into LBRY, Blocktalk 1, 2, and 3 are now live invite codes. So go at it.
Oh, damn. Thank you for that. Now everyone.
People have been asking all week. That's like their favorite question. So go for it, man.
All right, cool. So another question I got here is, so does LBRY kind of only work for media, or do you guys think you can have kind of articles the same way like Steam has articles, and like this kind of can become a Wikipedia type thing?
LBRY is like a domain namespace, and data market. What is on it is arbitrary.
As long as it's static, right?
Yeah. Well, like within the market, within like the data marketplace, it's got to be static. But
do you want to explain what that means? Maybe people will be curious.
Well, so as in content that is the same for everyone who's accessing it, as opposed to something that is for you, generated for you, or for the view. So, a video file might be static, but your email is not. Different kinds of websites.
Okay. I got a question from Beach M in the chat. Where is the content stored?
It is stored it's stored on this BitTorrent-like peer-to-peer network that peers are buying and selling the data that they're requesting, rather than just requesting it and doing it out of altruism.
Cool. Well, on the last show, or after the last show, I think I actually pinged Jeremy about it. I saw this cool thing where it was with BitTorrent as well. Like, as soon as you clicked on a file, clicked play, it immediately started downloading. But then after a little while, like you'd be playing it, but then it would start seeding other nodes. So like, do you guys have kind of like anything going on with like video playback, kind of dealing with seeders and leechers in an interesting way or anything like that?
We're going. I mean, we've talked about that. At the moment, there isn't any special prioritization in the file, but we would like to have it such that, generally speaking, the front of the file is priced higher than the back, and so if you don't know about a file, you'll assume the beginning is more valuable than the end, and prioritize it first, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the nice thing, I mean, for a lot of people still haven't gotten to try LBRY yet, although 3 more people presumably just did. The performance is quite good, and you'll actually see this. We got some reviews on Bitcoin Talk and other places from people who were able to get into our beta. If you search and you click play, it starts playing very, very quickly. My background is in creating software that people like to use, right? I was somewhat into cryptocurrencies, but what I like is making software, making products that people really like the experience of. And to that extent, it needs to work. People need to be able to find something, and people need to be able to start getting it very, very quickly. And so LBRY is definitely designed with that in mind.
That was, I tell this story over and over again, but what pulled me in when the project was just Jeremy and Jimmy over a year ago was just the usability and that sort of obsession with the experience of the end user, because that's what's really kind of, I would say, missing, or is a big deficit in the whole crypto world. We're all nerds, and we don't really give a second thought to normals and how they interact with all this new technology.
Well, I do.
Well, yes, we do, but the space as a whole needs to do some work. Not that people haven't. I mean, there's great wallets and that kind of thing, and even Shapeshift is a great example of something very usable, easy. But we're still getting there, I think, on that front.
Yeah, if you ever tried to use the Bitcoin, like the original Bitcoin program, it's just amazing, like how some things that you never want to do are really easy, and some things you want to do every single time are almost impossible.
Yeah.
So we got some more kind of comments in the chat here. Someone was asking, or he was saying, he uses IPFS, I believe, but I know from the last show you guys said it didn't. But I actually had a question regarding that, since basically all you guys are kind of is a new domain service, so you can basically use it as a pointer towards any IPFS file. Like your system can use IPFS rather easily.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, what the LBRY blockchain does is it takes a URL and then it associates metadata with it. And then above the LBRY blockchain is a data net layer, and I feel like Jack is probably going to want to correct me like 30 seconds into this, but above that is a data net layer, and that data net layer is very, very open and can do lots of different things. So the LBRY protocol entirely supports and encourages the ability for metadata at the blockchain level to resolve to any number of formats. So LBRY metadata could resolve to a URL and use HTTP. It could resolve to a BitTorrent magnet link. It could resolve to an IPFS link. And then we do support our own publishing format that is a little bit different from all of these, but it's absolutely not a requirement.
It could resolve to an OpenBazaar store.
It could resolve to an OpenBazaar store.
Well, just the same way right now, like the website that I have in the description below, it goes to my Steemit page just because I'm still working on my site. But I pointed it at a couple different things in the past 3 or 4 months of owning it. So yeah, you can use it as redirects, because I'm sure at least one person in the chat right now knows all about using redirects as kind of a monetary system, or what am I saying even? Yeah.
Who would that be?
I knew where you were going.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The domain market is really interesting because people like to camp on domains. It's definitely I would say a problem. Let's put it that way.
But we've solved it, Alex. There's no incentive to camp on a LBRY name. You can't do anything. You can't do it.
But the thing is, now it's kind of like a wisdom of the crowd thing. So now, let's say I own the LBRY address like Josh Feiner, and I like to,
Bodie McBoatface.
Well, I mean, is it not already the case that the person who has more on the line, who values the thing more, does tend to win? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is explicit and
a lot of transaction costs right now. Yeah.
Right. The current domain system is pretty close to Cosine in the first place. It's really only corner cases where the theorem hasn't held up. However, LBRY should have I don't know if I want to claim we're going to have 0 corner cases, but it should be even better than previous systems.
There's a really good article about people using short domain names to get money out of China, like just using them almost like a cryptocurrency. I swear, you can search it up.
You read Zero Hedge too.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it'll be really funny, if you get in a situation like, okay, Donald Trump now points to like say lemon party, and like the majority of people will probably commit so that stays the same, but like Donald will be all upset. It's like, oh man, how much money is it going to cost me to point back?
Don't you want that economic calculation to happen?
Yeah, I think that would be a much clearer vote and representation of the general public than whatever the American election decides.
Can we make that happen somehow?
Yeah,
Someone
just
probably is right now, yeah.
some of your credits. I mean, yeah, I would say if there's, we will have some differing opinions on this team. I'm not sure if there's anyone on this team that is not a fan of Hayek. So definitely a lot of inspiration for us there.
So I think Chelsea has a question. I don't know if Chelsea wants to be unmuted from the basement there.
Sounds like a horrible situation.
She's waving her arms
in the basement.
Just give it in sign
code. Yeah.
I'll read her question because she wrote it to me. It's like, yeah, when there's
in the basement.
I signed up and it gave me a super warning about stability on Linux. So I was wondering how much that's standard beta thing, or if it's some significant issues I've had with Linux.
No,
get rid of that warning.
Well, I mean, we just want people to know that it's a beta, and yeah, I believe our beta warning warns you that our software may curse your family for generations, but that's just a common programming error. That's just a joke.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised it hasn't happened yet.
I've had a couple people find it though.
So do you guys kind of see, more of an alpha kind of coming out soon, where like this is, mom ready, or it's at those Facebook level of easiness?
It's a beta, but if you just want to go on and watch one of the pieces of content that are on there right now, the majority of users are able to do that very, very easily. There's certainly more work to do from the usability side of it, and we're aiming for a very, very high level of usability, and we haven't met that goal yet. But this is, at this point, it's not difficult. It's not an obscure thing. It's something that a lot of users can use today.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like was it Chelsea? But whoever's in the basement there, who I believe you must have gotten one of the Blocktalk codes. You let us know. We can get live user feedback. So I don't know. Are you running Ubuntu?
It's not going to hurt your system if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, you're running Ubuntu.
But if it does, talk to Jeremy.
Thumbs up for Ubuntu.
Yeah, I think you'll have no problem. Actually, I'll tell you, the one problem you might have is make sure you use the invite code that you receive via email. You're going to have to enter it again. That's the only user experience problem we're having at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Gmail was in beta for 5 years before they finally called it official. So I think if we do better than that, it'll be pretty good.
Yeah. We'll let Chelsea chime in again in 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll find out how she found it.
All right, sounds good. So I guess kind of on the roadmap sort of things, not to take away from like Litecoin and steal all their thunder, but are you guys like planning like a web wallet or anything kind of more like client model like?
Web wallet is not on our immediate horizon. LBRY is, while it has decent user experience, it is an MVP. There's lots of functionality that we know is required that's still not there. There's actually not even a publishing UI in the current version, so that's around the corner. There's not a Windows version yet. That's got to come out. There's lots of functionality that YouTube has that we still don't have. We don't have channel pages. We don't have good feedback for that.
Profiles.
Yeah. So there's lots on the horizon. In terms of just expanding the app's capabilities, as well as continuing to kill bugs, expanding the number of platforms that we're on. I'd say those are probably our primary focuses.
I think we're going to get less wallet questions once the product UI has the wallet functions integrated, because right now we're a little bit disintegrated with people with different versions and some people doing command lines. And they're saying, hey, can we get a wallet, because they want to use that function, but that function will just be part of it like every other function.
And really, our interest is in building an application, right? A lot of cryptocurrency users come at it as they think that they're getting currencies, and and it's not that they're not, but they're interested in buying them and trading them and using them in a different way than to interact with an application. And our concern is giving them something, giving them an application, right? And all of our focus and energy is going to be there.
I don't know. I think you guys are just kind of making this super difficult so you can, wrap up all the names before anyone else can get them.
Oh, wait. Alex, but you can't drag them up. There's no ability to speculate. You can't do it.
Alex, if you want to take control of Josh Feiner, I'm happy to lend you some credits, so you can have library://Josh Feiner.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever you want with that, man.
I got a couple sites that I might point to. It might actually be the Jumbuck Slack where Feiner, used to always hang out until he went to your Slack and now your secondary Slack. We miss you, buddy.
You're still sad about it, aren't you?
I'm deeply hurt.
I check in occasionally. I'm sorry if I have some things to do, but I'll be back. Don't you worry. And you know what? I encourage you to point my name somewhere, because then it'll be that much more incentive for them to get that many more people who can use it and see what's there, You
know what? I think I got the perfect thing for it. I'm going to get a live webcam for my pig barn, and then I'll just have it, point there so people can come and see.
That works.
I feel like that's really representatory of it.
I will not read into that too much.
Can be being paid to host a live pig feed.
Sounds kind of like I would watch that for at least a while.
Yeah.
All they do is lounge around a lot, but it could be fun. There's the hour of the day where I come there and skirt their poop, so whatever.
That's prime time. Right there.
Prime time.
Canada is a very different country.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's you might say different, but some people might say better. I don't know. Yeah. Well, you know what? New Hampshire sounds like a pretty awesome place.
It's basically Canada anyway.
I don't know if there's any Seattle guys in your dev team, but I heard Seattle is basically like Vancouver with slightly more mountains. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. Maybe I'll go to the chat.
Cheaper breakfast cereal. That was the key. You guys got to work on the cost of breakfast cereal in Canada. It's insane.
I did not realize that was a known issue.
Oh yeah, you're way overpaying for your cereal. I lived anyway. Go ahead. Carry on.
Okay.
You need to do some kind of blockchain cereal app. Help distribute that cereal out and create an efficient marketplace.
Alex, you should probably reach out to those Kabaj coin people about that.
Yeah, maybe something you could do on Open Bazaar. There, you should buy cheap American cereal and sell it to Canadians.
You know what? I'm working on my own global food network, but I'm still trying to nail down the partnership with Kabaj, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know if all the dev team. Josh, have you been sharing that video with all of them?
No, I don't think my team is really aware of that particular episode of Blocktalk. It was before all the library craziness started, and it's been a little distracting. But we're referring to a prior guest on his show that was quite a character. Wore a Guy Fawkes mask the entire time. That's some interesting stuff. But
which company was that?
It's this Kabaj tech that we're talking about. He's created some coin that he maintains is for farmers to use, but it's just this clone scam coin. It's not even worth talking about.
Yeah,
our goal is really to be. We're trying to be boring. We're trying to create a good technology, but there's no point in being characters.
Well, judging by my Steam and payout, I would say mission accomplished on the boring. But
Hey.
Oh. Hey, you know what? This show's generated more in actual Bitcoin than Steam dollars. So I'm pretty happy. Once again, thanks Adam for that. We'll drink it up well. But yeah, that show is rather entertaining, and I'll talk with Riley and we'll see if we can poke it in between a couple of the Hollywood movies. I'm sure it will do quite well.
That's our next video. You record it.
Yeah, I'll get you a nice little clip of that, but I'm still waiting on this Hollywood sign. Come on, man, we need a little scenic view, or at least point at the neighborhood kids who are probably in your backyard.
I'll be right back.
Okay, perfect. Let's see here. Cheers, Adam, in the chat here. Let's see. Someone's having some issues signing up with that giveaway code. apparently,
it probably got claimed by other people.
that's what I told him, but he didn't. He said he didn't.
You have such a massive audience, man.
Yeah, actually, we're up to like 25 live viewers. 35. Oh my God, this is great.
That's a pretty good day.
And you know what? I'm running out of questions now. This isn't good. This is where we start freeballing it. You guys kind of took the show over last time, but yeah, like people are kind of asking about your competitors. You know, like talking about Alexandria or even Storage. But it sounds like yeah, like this isn't about the content hosting really. Like this is much more about the infrastructure on top of it. So yeah, the Kosian paper sounds like one for everyone to read to really understand the value of this. Do you guys know of any other kind of project or any other real-world implementation of that economic principle?
Well, I mean, the real-world
the allocation of property.
Yeah. Houses.
But no one's gonna make me sell my property for any dollar amount, right?
Yeah. So this does it is a little more.
How much would I have to offer you?
Gorgeous.
Usually they can. I mean,
it's time for us to come clean. It's not Kosian. Yeah. The difference is, I mean, yeah.
But it's that transaction costs in this system are even lower than transaction costs in the exchange of property. So it's even more Kosian than something like a house or a domain name.
Automatically. Well, then it's like a dispute resolution process.
Right. Henry George was famous for and his followers were famous for theorizing about, basically not having this indefinite holding of private property that people should be able to constantly bid, which is exactly what we're doing with these names. So I think it's certainly the stakes are lower in LBRY than for a house, where you maybe don't want it to be bid out from under you because of some other costs associated with that. But yeah, we all believe that it's going to result in high discoverability and kind of it's a new thing. I've never seen it tried.
Well, I think it'd be really interesting if you could apply this somehow to, like, you look at Wikipedia, like where anyone can really make an edit. But if more people are willing to commit to say, like, this version of this article is more correct than this version, like is that kind of possible in your system, or should I start, patenting this right now and hopefully someone else builds it for me?
You, at the end of the show, should start publishing a copy of Wikipedia onto LBRY.
Okay, but I mean, like, individual kind of the individual wording.
Somebody else could take it.
Okay. No, but I'm saying like say you have a Wikipedia page for some famous actor or something, and he edits everything, and like right now anyone can really change that. But what if there's more economic incentive towards those changes? Like, is that something that's possible with your system on that small of a level, or is it only redirects?
To the extent that if there's a library name for give me an actor here. John Voight.
Matthew McConaughey, because that's who Riley looks like, apparently.
Okay, so library:// Matthew McConaughey, and that resolves to a Wikipedia page. Then you could choose which you could bid which version would show up there, or two different websites, so on and so forth. So you could definitely accomplish that.
Interesting.
Can you guys talk more on that? Like, I know it was touched on how users who are paying for the content can actually be seamlessly contributing to the securing of the name itself too.
Yes.
So there's two ways to kind of support a creator. You can pay directly for the content, but you can also, if you pledge to support their name, we've been talking about that in terms of like a tip. And it's a tip that doesn't ultimately cost you in the sense of your credits aren't spent, they're just pledged. So it's something it's a little bit less than just buying. You're not just giving credits to the person, but it's a way to say thanks and yes, I endorse what you're doing with this name.
You could also rotate your income into your claims, and that because the amount that you've committed on your claims is still yours, and you can move it around as you see fit. instead of having your idle balance be on a nothing address, you can have it be on one of those claim accounts. And so, the revenue that you're generating from views could be feeding back into that bid on that name.
It's almost like staking in an abstract way.
Yeah, I think the example of, I'll say it again, the Steam is a really interesting example of how staking can kind of be done, like to do these really interesting concepts. Like proof of stake is really showing way more innovation now, not just in terms of network and infrastructure and decentralization, but also in terms of like economics and incentives and how you can manage a network and how everyone can contribute in their own way. Like staking doesn't mean putting coins down. Usually it can mean putting a lot more things down, whether it's content or individual creation and everything. Yeah, I'm just kind of rambling because I read a lot on proof of stake every day, and actually I'm not allowed to talk about what I'm planning on or what I'm doing in the fall with it yet. But you'll see it on a future Blocktalk. I'll have some pretty cool announcements for you guys. But we're kind of getting to the end of our time here, and since there's so many of us, we should probably start doing our tradition of Bitcoin price predictions right now. Chelsea was just telling me too. Her install isn't connecting, but it's probably the video stream. So yeah.
Just join the Slack. We'll help you.
All right. Why don't you reiterate that again, that link, and while I'm pulling up my screen here.
So slack.lbry.io. You can join our Slack. And if you do have any issues running LBRY, we recommend running the command line version, which will give you a log file. That's the recommended, right, Jack? Have them run the command line version if they experience any trouble?
It's a different way to set it up, and that might, if they're having trouble with it, they should probably talk to us in Slack.
Okay.
If they can figure out how to install the command line version, then go for it.
Cool. All right, so I'm getting my Coinigy pulled up here. It's loading slowly. There we go. Maybe this should be running on some sort of decentralized network.
Who won the Bitcoin prediction last time? I now wonder.
Geez, I would have to pull it up.
You need an intern to go look in the archives.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't keep that stuff offhand. I really probably should have, because that's the whole point of this, is to really know who knows best.
Ancient history, man.
Well, you should never take predictions from people without skin in the game anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm just waiting for Augur or Bitcoin Hive Mind to launch, or maybe Genosis, one of these prediction markets where I actually can get something going.
My money's on Hive Mind, by the way. I think the guy behind it he's a smart guy.
Yeah, I have Paul Stark on. He's a smart dude. I like him. I'm gonna have him on again soon because he apparently has something to show me, whereas Augur just keeps delaying their launch. Anyways,
Paul needs marketing help. Someone out there who's a good marketer, get on Paul's team and help him with marketing.
Cough, Blocktalk. Okay, Jeremy, since you're talking right now, why don't you tell me what Bitcoin's going to be in a week's time? And
I think it's going to be $669.71.
$669.79.
71.
Oh, 71. My mistake. That could be the winning number. Josh.
I'm going to say 675. If you look at a 3-day duration chart, it's been going sideways for a while, and I think that is going to continue.
All right. Let's see here, Jack.
676.
This is the price, right?
Jack, I thought you were with me on the MH bandwagon. Come on, man.
Come on down.
I mean, I didn't have time to figure out the interest rate.
I think Jack won last time. If I had to guess, I'll confirm. And
I called a crash last time. Is what happened.
Jack, you can't do that if you believe in weak EMH, man.
Apparently, it was in information asymmetry.
Okay. Let's see, Riley. What are you thinking, man?
682.50.
682.51.
Sent over.
682.50. All right. Mike.
I'm gonna go with 666.
Ooh, the devil's number right there.
actually 666.66 on Bitstamp right now.
Oh, there we go. See, it's a dangerous game to try to outsmart
Yeah.
markets. So that's what that symbolizes.
Intentionality there.
This is quite a price we're at right now. Praise Satin.
Is this Price is Right style? How does this work?
I've been going closest
3
to.
months and other rules.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that, Mike.
What do we win?
Once there are the rules. So we can pick them apart.
All right.
What we should be doing is guessing the price of LBC next week, because who the fuck knows what that's going to be.
I would love to do that, but then you guys would be guilty of insider trading, and no one really wants that. It's like, oh, it's gonna be, parody. Let's see here, Michael.
I don't know, go 650.
Okay, Michael.
Pessimist.
660.
I liked it when it was 250.
Or did you say 650? 60 or 50?
He said 50.
650.
Okay. Who else have we got here? Alex? It's Grant.
What's been the highest bid so far?
Let's see. We're at
He's gaming.
676 from Jack.
What is it?
No, I was 676. I think that it's somebody did 86. or something.
Oh yeah, sorry. Riley did 82. 8250.
683.14.
83.
Our highly logical team is like, why are we doing this?
Well, I'm gonna win something, right?
All right. I'm gonna be Bear. I'm just gonna undercut everyone and say we're probably gonna break down, and I'm gonna say $5.99.
Wow. You're doing it 'cause it's tradition.
That's a bold move.
$5.99.99. Bitcoin's on sale.
Yeah,
right now.
why did not fall for this anchoring stuff?
It's really irresponsible for you to make a public pronouncement like that. You're going to crash the price.
What sites
I do it every week.
How do you short Bitcoin? What sites let you short Bitcoin?
Plenty.
Let's see. There's numerous ones, and none of them sponsor the show, so I won't mention them.
I'll be happy to fill you in, Jeremy.
Okay. I'm not going to, so.
And then in the basement there, Chelsea, you can type me, I guess, any predictions you guys have, because muting seems to be your strong suit. Quiet crowd in the basement. Maybe I'll go to the YouTube chat here. Anyone else? Adam, 844.46. All right, I'll put that one in. He's going mega bull.
You guys don't have a smart contract going for this?
Like I said, I wanted to put it on Augur or Hivemine. I want to have like a legit market.
Well, but there's no the futures market in the price of a traded asset is the price of the asset, right?
That's true. Yeah. If you guys really want to bet on it, just
What do you mean by that?
Right. Well, I mean, I don't think that
it's that with time cost, with like speculated time cost.
Okay, sure, right. So it's the price of the coin plus approximate interest, but there's not theoretically you shouldn't be gaining much information from an information market in the future price of an asset that has a liquid market, right?
Predictions about future scarcity, like at specific dates.
But the future is inherently
right, but
unpredictable.
predictions about the future are already priced into the price of the asset.
But
Well,
people
it's like
don't
I know
really
that there's locusts that are going to eat all the oranges, and I predict that oranges are going to be more expensive next summer. That's like a temporal prediction.
But that
you and your locust conspiracy theory.
Well, you know what? If I were to do this as a smart contract, it wouldn't be anything to do with who is close. So every one of these would actually fluctuate very greatly based on the price. So Chelsea said $800, and Jen said 666.69. So undercutting Jeremy by 2 cents. It could come down to that. All right, guys. This is going to take me a while to get the lines all drawn up, but this is going to be a pretty accurate chart, I can tell. We got quite the prediction market going here on the show. But yeah, let's see if we can talk to you guys maybe in another 6 months and find out exactly what Hollywood movies we're going to be seeing on the platform. I'm super excited. And yeah, once again, thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much.
Right before we sign off, just in case for those who stuck around, I made 2 more codes: Blocktalk 69 and Blocktalk 6969. So Go at it.
Very mature. That's
I'm
our
the most
CEO,
mature.
ladies and gentlemen.
I'm the most mature person in the entire world.
Herman, you get to hang up first.
What do you mean by that?
Uh,
I'm just kidding.
No, you hang up first.
I
Bye,
forgot to
guys.
make my sign-off cards here, but you guys can see in my lower third of where to follow. Check me out on Steam. And all the links are in the description below. This has been LBRY. LBRY. We're here. LBRY. Yep.
No, that's good.
Cool. Be quiet, sweet prince. And this has been Block Talk. Thank you. See you in the next 1,000 blocks.
Thank you, Alex.